Cloverfield Paradox is a movie that really tries hard to do something interesting. I really liked the ideas that they played with, and some of the applications were really cool. It's also very obvious that this was not intended to be a Cloverfield movie originally. I think Cloverfield was mentioned twice in the whole situation, which included a news broadcast where somebody had been naming this the Cloverfield Paradox. And then again, when one of the scientists was like, it's the Cloverfield Paradox, as if we need to be told that. The thing that really hurts this film is definitely the writing, because it feels very amateurish. There's a lot of exposition that's very clumsily delivered. There's just a lot of situations that don't make any sense, such as the scientists are working on making their project happen, and as they're doing it, one of them is listening to a news report talking about their work. I just don't get why in the middle of preparing for doing your work, you're listening to the BBC or CNN about your work. There's just a lot of moments where things also happen, and it's like, why did this happen this way? Because the plot needed it to happen that way. There doesn't always seem to be rhyme or reason to why things are happening, and sometimes it feels like it's just chalked up to whatever. Even the characters seem confused sometimes. There's a scene where somebody sacrifices themselves, and one of the characters is like, no, we can do this remotely. The person just sacrifices themselves anyways, and we, the people who were watching this with me, we were just all like, they're right, you can do this remotely, this isn't the only way. It's just so weird, some of the things that happen. I would like to say that unlike 1517 to Paris, which I talked about yesterday, this film had some pretty good acting. I felt like, they're professional actors. What they were given to work with wasn't really great, but it was at least ambitious, and they showed that they had a lot of skill. This felt like a really high-budget student film, to be honest. I think perhaps the worst thing that happens in this entire film is that there's a whole B story going on Earth when all this is happening, and when it gets to the end of it, none of it mattered. None of it connected at all whatsoever. One of the characters was related to another. When it got to the end, I was asking one of the friends of mine who'd been watching the film with me, and I was just like, so all that stuff on Earth, and then he just finished, it didn't matter. Like, it's so clear that it didn't matter. I don't know why it's still there. In fact, the whole opening scene is uninteresting in my opinion. All it does is it talks about how bad things are on Earth, and then we sit in a car line and we see power going off, and they're like, oh, we gotta go up to the station to save Earth. And I get if they were trying to get an emotional attachment to the main character, Hamilton, but it didn't matter to me. That didn't help at all. They should have just started on the station, and they should have just ignored everything on Earth, and that would have been better. Let's talk a little bit about the good stuff. So this is going to get a little spoilery, but what they were trying to do was really cool. I really liked the idea of two dimensions colliding in with each other and sort of mix-matching and smashing things together. I thought it was really interesting. You had bits and pieces from each one, and it created a more complicated story. I don't like that most of the issues that were caused by this were resolved pretty quickly. I think that J.J. Abrams should be a little bit more selective of what he throws the Cloverfield name onto. This worked really well with Cloverfield 10 Lane. I believe that's what it was. Or 10 Cloverfield Lane. I always get mixed up. I think it worked great for that because that movie was good in of its own right. So I didn't care that it was tacked on with the Cloverfield. This is not a good movie in of its own right. So it's made even worse by tacking on the Cloverfield branding onto it and just sort of haphazardly shoving it together. The end scene, it's just not interesting to me. I just didn't care. At the end of the film, I just didn't care enough. I think with better execution, with better writing, then it could have been a lot better. The set design was really good. That's about the only thing I can particularly say was good about this film. So, as far as a viewability rating, I would say background noise. It's a Netflix original film, so throw it on the background or watch it with some friends and just be ready to poke some fun. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my review on Cloverfield Paradox. If you enjoyed my review, why don't you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I put up a video. I'm trying to put up 5 videos a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be current movies that are in the theaters or have been this year, and Tuesdays, like you're experiencing right now, are going to be streaming originals, and then Thursday I do retro films. So if you have an idea for a streaming film or a retro film that you'd really like to see, why don't you leave a suggestion down below in the comments. Have you had a chance to watch Cloverfield Paradox? I'd be very interested to see what you think of it. I have a feeling that there might be some people that really like this film, and if you really liked it, why don't you let me know down below why you enjoyed it a lot, or maybe some of the takes that you might have. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.